Faith can move the mountains. In a quiet village surrounded by towering mountains, there lived a young woman named Miriam. Every day she would rise early to fetch water, tend to her family's needs, and work in the fields. Though hardworking and kind, she carried a burden in her heart. The people of her village often struggled with fear, drought, and doubt. They believed the mountains around them symbolized obstacles too great to overcome, barriers that kept them from hope. Miriam, however, often read the scriptures given to her by a traveling teacher. One verse shone brightly in her heart. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Matthew 17 verse 20. At first, she wondered, could such a thing really be true? Could faith move mountains? One year, the village faced its hardest season. A severe drought dried up the fields, and their only well nearly ran dry. The villagers panicked, convinced they would not survive. They gathered before the chief and cried, "The mountains trap the clouds. Rain will never come. We are doomed." But Miriam stood up with courage. "No," she said, "we are not doomed. Our God is greater than these mountains. He can send water where there is none. He can bring life even in the desert." The people laughed at her. "You are young and foolish. What can your little faith do against the power of nature?" Yet Miriam did not argue. She knelt by the dry well and prayed, "Lord, you said if I have faith as small as a mustard seed, the mountains will move. I do not trust in my strength, but in yours. Show my people that nothing is impossible with you." For days, Miriam returned to the well to pray. Her faith did not waver, though others mocked her. Then one morning, dark clouds gathered above the mountains. A strong wind blew, and soon heavy rain poured down upon the village. The fields drank deeply, the well filled, and the villagers danced with joy. The chief came to Miriam and asked, "How did you know this would happen?" "We saw no hope." Miriam smiled gently. "It was not I who moved the mountains, but the God who hears faith. Even a little faith, placed in his mighty hands, becomes unstoppable." The villagers began to listen as Miriam shared more from the scriptures. She told them about Abraham, who believed God's promise though he was old and childless, and saw nations come from him. She told them about Moses, who lifted his staff in faith and saw the Red Sea part. And she told them about Jesus, who said, "All things are possible for the one who believes." Mark 9 verse 23. Slowly, the hearts of the people were changed. They learned that faith was not about human strength, but about trusting God's power. Their fear of the mountains faded, replaced with hope and prayer. This story reminds us that mountains are not always made of rock and stone. Sometimes the mountains in our lives are fear, sickness, financial struggles, or broken relationships. Yet Jesus promises that if we believe, even with faith as small as a mustard seed, those mountains will move. So when challenges rise before you, do not despair. Like Miriam, stand firm in prayer and declare God's promises. For with him, nothing is impossible. Truly, faith can move the mountains. Thanks for watching.